Members, it's the appointed time. Welcome to this meeting. Let's go into item 1 on the agenda. That's information paper issued since the last meeting. No paper has been issued since then. Item 2, items for discussion at the next meeting. The next meeting will be held at 2:30 p.m. on the 14th of July 2025. The administration proposes to discuss the following 2 items. First, latest progress of initiatives taken for combating phone deception and proposed enhancements to the real name registration program for SIM card. That's item 1 on the list for the list of outstanding items for discussion. The second item is work on safeguarding information security. Do members agree to the 2 items? Now let's move on to the next one, that is regulatory regime of domestic free television program services and matters related to handling license renewal applications. Would the administration please come into the room? Members who would like to put questions, please press the request to speak button. Welcome, Undersecretary for Commerce and Economic Development, Dr. Bernard Chen, and his team. They are Mr. Chosar Leung, Director General of Communications Office of the Communications Authority. Undersecretary, please. Thank you. Madam Chair, good afternoon. Together with colleagues from the OFCA, I'd like to brief members on the progress, procedures, criteria, and license renewal applications of the domestic free television program services license. Currently, we have 3 free TV licensees offering 12 digital programs, channels offering information, entertainment, education programs to the public. All licenses are valid for 12 years and they are going to expire in 2026, 7, and 28. Regarding the procedures and criteria involved in the handling of license renewal applications will take place and be handled this year. The government grant free TV licenses in order to offer more options to the people. We encourage investors to invest in the broadcasting industry to promote efficient and fair competition through different areas, including the code of practice and statutory requirements. We regulate the licensees. The 3 licensees are Hong Kong Television Entertainment Company Limited, Television Broadcast Limited, and iCable Hoi Limited. As the 3 licenses are going to expire within 2 to 3 years, we're going to process their renewal applications in tandem. We will have regards to their compliance, the policy of the government, the public feedback. We're going to consider their applications. We will look into whether they have complied with their investment plans, their commitment in the future, and we're also going to look into their compliance with the programming requirements and standards, regulatory requirements on advertising and on program materials, so on and so forth. The codes will cover standards on corporate management and investment program. We're going to collect feedbacks from the public by way of public consultation, focus group discussions, surveys, so on and so forth. We want to facilitate the public's submission of their views regarding the licenses. In the 3rd quarter this year, we're going to proceed to a public consultation. We welcome members of the LegCo to give us your views. Having considered the criteria and considerations, the Communications Authority will submit our recommendations on the free TV license renewal applications along with their conditions to the Chief Executive and Council for consideration. Regarding the relevant considerations and criteria, they are set out in the discussion paper that we've submitted. My colleagues and I will take members' questions. There are 9 members who have pressed the button. I'll read out their names. They are Mr. Lee Cheng-kun, Mr. Chan Xiu-hong, Mr. Chen Chen-ying, Mr. Ma Feng-kwok, Mr. Lam Chen-sing, Professor William Wong, Mr. Tony Chen, Mr. Xiu Ka-fai, and myself. Each member will have 4 minutes, and Mr. Lee Cheng-kun. Thank you. According to paragraph 11 of the paper, as we can see, the TV industry is affected by online streaming services, and that's why their revenue generated from advertisements is going down. More young people opt to watch programs online. How can we support the licensees better? Their cost of creating programs is rising because there are fewer young people who would like to join the sector. Can the licensees apply for funding for their studio locations? Can the government build a studio for lease for the licensees, or allow the tourists to take pictures there and charge a fees? Second, I think that we should allow the licensees to offer goods for sale online. We are in the 3rd generation of a mode of selling. Many people sell goods by online streaming. We sometimes rely on KOLs or actors and actresses to consume certain products in TV programs in order to market the products. Can we say, for example, click onto our remote in order to learn more about the product details and make a purchase immediately? Thank you. Undersecretary, thank you. I thank Mr. Lee for his suggestion. First of all, we will relay your suggestion to the Communications Authority. You mentioned that we should create a better business environment for licensees by relaxing restrictions on advertisements. We keep an open mind to it. We're here to listen to your views. The Communications Authority in the 3rd quarter this year will start our public consultation. We will listen to the views of the public to see how we can improve our requirements and regulations. We understand that the broadcasting industry is faced with various challenges. That's why the government has been in close liaison with the industry. We adopt a multi-pronged approach to promote the development of the broadcasting industry. We have reviewed the program code, and we have introduced a series of relaxation measures under SIPA. We have also conducted midterm review on the technical codes and advertising codes, and we have relaxed many of our restrictions. They include relaxing the number of hours non-English language program can be played in English programs, and we have also relaxed restrictions on advertisements, so on and so forth. We believe that this measure will promote the development of the industry. If licensees would like us to further relax the conditions imposed on them, we welcome them making such proposals to the CA on, for example, advertisements, subtitling requirements, so on and so forth. Thank you. Anything to add? Director General. Thank you. Well, we think that this is an opportunity for us to listen to the public on how we should promote the development of the industry and how we can further relax our restrictions. Say, for example, on program sponsorship and indirect advertisements or product placements, we will see if we can relax our restrictions on these areas. Mr. Chan Xiu-hong, thank you. We are here to discuss the license renewal applications for domestic free television program service. As we are developing Web 3.0, not that many people choose to receive information or enjoy entertainment through watching traditional TV. Many of them no longer turn on free TV programs as they have their dinner. People can watch anything, including TV programs, on their phones at any time they like. As the CA will conduct a survey, I think that they have to look into the latest trend of free TV program services, as well as their positioning. The papers touched on it to a certain extent, but it seems that they are adopting the old ways of doing things. The requirements and restrictions have not been updated to a great extent. There are still, say, 3 licensees. I think that we should review the number of channels under the free TV program service providers, and we should review its positioning and how it compares to their counterparts on the internet. Hong Kong is an international metropolis. We are triliterate and bilingual. Many expats who work and live in Hong Kong have no trouble traveling in Hong Kong. When tourists stay in hotel, they may watch paid channels, but for those who actually live here, they may opt for English channels. However, the English channels that we have are rather boring. They mainly focused on news, information, and business, such as stock markets. I think that we should create programs on telling good stories of Hong Kong or the mainland. I think that we should diversify the content of the programs on the English channels to offer more options for expats who live and work here. These are my 2 questions. I may press for a second round. Under Secretary. I will give a simple reply to see if the Director General has anything to add. I agree with what Mr. Chen has said. We want to improve the overall business environment, and we want to offer information and entertainment to both the locals and the expats. We want to enhance people's sense of identity and be educated in terms of our national security law and other areas. Director General, please. We want to internationalize the English programs that we offer. When there is a demand, then the licensees would find ways to diversify their programs. We may relax our restrictions. Putonghua is equally important in Hong Kong. But then, of course, English will be the main language used in the English channels. However, the licensees may introduce programs in other languages to attract investments. For advertisements on English channels, they may be in languages other than English. And this may be ways for us to attract people who speak languages other than English to watch the advertisements, and that will attract investments. Thank you.
主席啊，我
Madam Chair, I'd like to get a quick response from the administration in relation to free TV, its positioning vis-à-vis the new and emerging technologies because of the rise of the internet and the challenges. I'd like the administration to conduct a review, especially before the expiry of the current term of the licenses. A territory-wide fundamental review should be conducted. Can you tell the public and electrical your plan? Will you be making reference to the relevant policies and practices in neighboring places in Southeast Asian countries? Well, I think they will answer you in the second round. Next, Mr. Ronald Chen. Free TV, after all, is the least costly and the most convenient mode of entertainment for the public. I think it is necessary that we keep free TV services. I have three questions. According to what Mr. Michael Lee said, nowadays fewer young people watch TV. So free TV mostly caters for senior citizens. But one feature of senior citizens, according to my understanding, is that they do not react very positively, or they do not react at all to product placement. And therefore, perhaps the administration should consider relaxing the restriction on product placement and product advertising so as to generate more income for the TV stations. The second point is about the programs shown on TV stations. They have local as well as programs produced in other places. Now, I understand there aren't many locally produced programs. There are, of course, budgetary concerns, but will the government encourage the licensees to at least air a certain proportion of locally produced programs so as to help groom local artists? About this midterm review, according to the public opinion, variety shows such as sports and artistic shows are more popular. I understand that the government has procured the broadcasting rights for major sports events such as the Olympics and the World Cup, and that all three stations could air these programs. What about other concerts and sports events, etc.? Will the government allow the three TV stations to join hands in procuring these events for broadcasting in Hong Kong? Well, I'll try to take the first questions, and then my colleague can help answer the other two. First, about relaxing our rule on advertising. We fully appreciate that for free TV, advertising presents a major source of revenue. So, relaxing the advertising rules could help create a more favorable business environment for the industry. And like I said, we do keep all options open. But of course, before we roll out any relaxation measure, we need to strike a balance between that and the interest of the audience, and whether there will be any negative impact on our children and young people. So, as I said, we will be listening to the views of the public as well as stakeholders in the industry, and we will balance all interests and draw up proposals that may be suitable or suited to everyone's needs on relaxing advertising rules. Director General, in fact, the Communications Authority imposes requirement on the three operators. There should be a minimum amount of hours of locally produced programs and independently produced programs. And so far, these three licensees are able to meet our requirement. Now, on government-sponsored sports programs, I think we need to have regard to the actual situation. For example, the interests of the wider public and how popular these sports events are in considering the sponsorship. Mr. Ma Fung Kwok. Paragraph 6 of the paper refers to a requirement for licensees to broadcast no less than 30 minutes of programs on national education, etc. Now, I am concerned about this requirement. The paper is silent on gauging the effectiveness of these programs on national education. Will the government consider setting up an assessment mechanism, such as inviting public feedback or inviting the education institutions to vet these programs to ensure that it meets the public's needs? The other question is this. According to the paper, a broadcasting service survey will be launched in the third quarter to seek public opinion, and that roughly 1,500 households will be invited to take part in the survey so as to ensure that findings will be at an acceptable level of precision and reliability. How do you ensure that this survey will cover different strata of society and different age groups? Because many members of the audience have now switched to online platforms or streaming platforms. For audience of public broadcasting, how do you make sure that they will be included in your survey? And apart from surveying about free TV programs, we also make reference to online audience. DG. Well, we expect to engage 1,500 households in the survey with a margin of error of 3%. Now, it's not a casual exercise. We engaged the CNSD to help us sample the households with an even distribution in terms of gender and geographical locations, and random sampling should be conducted as far as possible so as to keep the margin of error within 3%. In 2024, we conducted a broadcasting service survey on the acceptance of broadcasting service in Hong Kong and the acceptance of new media. And in fact, the report has been published. Well, my concern is these two surveys are not conducted at the same time. So another one will be conducted. My concern is, how do you reach out to the audience? How do you make sure that they view this program or receive this message through the online platform or through the free-to-air TV channel, since you're just focusing on free TV licenses? We conducted a survey in 2024, and in 2025, we are going to conduct another survey. This is because in 2024, we wanted to gauge the public's views on their preference in streaming on online platforms over traditional TV stations. Now, we have now obtained the relevant data. Now, this survey is about the renewal of licenses of the three operators. We'd like to gauge the public's views on the service quality as well as their performance. So these two surveys have different purposes. This survey is focused on the three licensees' performance and their regulatory compliance. Next, Mr. Lam Chun Sing. Thank you, Madam Chair. The first question is this. Annex 1. Now, last year you approved the TVB's establishment of the Phoenix Hong Kong channel as Channel 85. Now, I understand that this channel is quite well received by the public, and there is now a concern whether the licensee will save costs and resources in such a manner by airing the programs produced entirely by another station, and that it's a de facto landing of the license. Now, the Phoenix Hong Kong channel airs current affairs programs that are suited to the taste of Hong Kong people. So I suppose they complement each other's strengths. But my question is whether this mode of development will continue. The TVB is supposed to be gatekeeper in terms of quality of programs produced, and Phoenix TV acts as the producer. They are still at the teething stage. Have you identified any problems? Is it possible to further promote collaboration between free TV licensees and other agencies? My second question is this. The government promotes sports in Hong Kong, including the Asian Cup and the qualifying games that will be broadcast tomorrow. And I understand that the RTHK also broadcast the match between Hong Kong and India. We had many viewers in Hong Kong. With the government's attaching great importance to sports, will more sports events be broadcast by free TV stations? Then my last question is about the code of practice. I understand that warnings were issued against all three TV licensees on the basis of breaching the code of practice. Did the situation improve? How effective have these warnings been? Will they in any way affect their chance of getting a license renewal? I'll answer these questions. First, about TVB and other licensees, they are at liberty to produce or procure programs on the basis of their own policy. That means they can either produce the programs themselves or procure programs from a third-party channel or station. But the licensee is required to meet the code of practice issued by the Communications Authority as well as the Broadcasting Ordinance. Now, as mentioned, the Phoenix Hong Kong channel may provide the programs, but if there is anything in breach of the code of practice, the CA will take action according to the established procedures. The second point is about sports. As mentioned in my previous reply, we keep all options open and will definitely relay the view of Mr. Cheung to the Communications Authority. The third question, sorry. The questions is about warnings issued according to the code of practice, whether they serve as an incentive for TV stations to make improvements. DG, based on our record, these three stations breached the codes respectively. These were minor breaches. Some of these breaches related to advertising requirements or minor breaches involving false information. We are not of the view that these warnings would affect their chance of renewal. But of course, we'll listen to the public's views and then we'll carefully consider their proposals before deciding on this renewal of license. The breaches should not present a major hurdle. Next.
Professor William Wong. Thank you. I wonder if the administration will consider these factors. Say, for example, the licensee's ESG auditing situation, or if the administration will make use of AI in assessing the applications. Second, There are many online streaming services available. Will you look into whether the licensees abide by the requirements on national security and if they have done anything to maintain the correctness of their information? Under Secretary. As a licensees for free television program service, we care very much about the quality of their programs and the diversity of the content. We don't have requirements on ESG or AI, but in the proposal submitted by the licensees, they will include such information for reference. As to whether or not there is any false information in their programs, well, that's actually regulated under the Code of Practice promulgated by the CA. If in the current affairs programs there is false information, and if we receive any complaints on this, we will act accordingly. If the complaint is substantiated, we are going to penalize them. Professor Wong. So you will only penalize the licensees after the case. So, but why don't you look into whether they have any mechanism to fact check their content, the content of their programs? And Director General, are you referring to the programs? No. I believe that you will look into how they produce their programs. Am I right? When they procure programs from, say, a third party, do they have any system or mechanism to review the truthfulness of the information therein? Understood. Our regulatory regime on free TV license is different from movies. We don't have pre-censorship. We don't scrutinize the content of the program before they are broadcast, but if we receive any complaints, we will act on it. But we don't ask the licensees to submit their programs for prior scrutiny. Professor Wong, when the licensees receive programs or purchase programs from a third party, I believe that they have a mechanism to review the content before they broadcast them. Now, speaking of mechanism, we do have statutory requirements, code of practice, license conditions, and the licensees have to meet all these requirements. As mentioned by the Director General, if there is any non-compliance, we have a mechanism to advise, warn, or penalize these licensees. Well, I believe that what Mr. or Professor Wong said is that, say, take online security or international cybersecurity as an example. We do have a mechanism to, say, safeguard it. Now, faced with national security risk, AI, or possibility of false information in programs, will you ask the licensees to establish a mechanism to make sure that there will not be any false information in their programs? Will you consider it before you grant any renewal or new licenses? Madam Chair, in terms of cybersecurity, well, cybersecurity is only an example. Well, cybersecurity has to do with another bill, that's Protection of Critical Infrastructures, Computer Systems Bill. This is a set of ordinances that the licensees have to abide by as well. We ask the licensees to make sure that their programs will not pose any threats to national security, and the programs should not provoke or deepen hatred against the central authorities or the government of the Hong Kong SAR. These are the requiremms set out in the Code of Practice, and the licensees have to comply with them. However, we uphold editorship, freedom of editorship. Thank you. Mr. Tony Che. I agree with what Mr. Chen Chenying said. I hope that we will see more programs that are locally produced or independently produced. We have RTHK, and they have also TV programs. Will the RTHK be competing with the 3 licensees? Because RTHK is funded by the government, while the 3 licensees operate on a commercial basis. Now on Annex B, 3.11, on the use of up-to-date technology. Can the administration tell us more about it? 3.14, coverage. Are we talking about the coverage of the programs, or are we talking about quality? Undersecretary. Thank you. As mentioned, the 3 licensees do meet our requirements in terms of the number of programs that are locally produced. As mentioned, we will continue to encourage the licensees to produce more programs independently. In terms of the positioning and the role of RTHK as a public broadcasting agency, they have to take into account the interest of the members of the public, including ethnic minorities, non-Chinese speaking people. So the RTHK actually complements the 3 licensees. RTHK will continue to produce programs of different types and nature. They will promote sports culture, national security awareness, so on and so forth. As for the rest of the questions, I will defer to the Director General. Thank you. On technical requirements, we're talking to the licensees to see how they can improve their quality. We currently adopt the national standards. Our resolution, highest resolution, is 1080i. We are conducting testing on 4K. The licensees are looking into it, but that may involve the switch in spectrums or bands. We ask the licensees to provide their service in such a manner as to enable their services to be received throughout Hong Kong to the satisfaction of the Communications Authority. So they should serve everyone in Hong Kong. Undersecretary, I hope that you will increase the requirements on the number of hours of locally produced programs. Regarding RTHK, of course, it complements with the other 3 licensees, but is there competition? Say, for example, on sports program, licensees have to consider a revenue from advertisements. before they broadcast any programs. RTHK may have an edge on this. I think that you have to strike a balance. Director General, please. Thank you. RTHK is not a licensee of ours, but they also act in accordance with the Broadcasting Ordinance and our RTHK Charter. They are different from the 3 domestic free television program service licensees. They consider the viewership. However, RTHK take into account the needs of different people, say, for example, ethnic minorities, independent production. They will offer programs that are not usually broadcast by licensees of free television program service. I believe that, however, they do compete on a certain program or types of programs, say news bulletins. Mr. Xiu Ka-fai, thank you. These 3 licensees have been working very hard to attract viewership from both Hong Kong and other cities in the Greater Bay Area. Not all licensees cover cities in Greater Bay Area. What's the situation now? Thank you. Director General, please. These licensees have their licenses granted under the Broadcasting Ordinance. They serve people in the Hong Kong SAR. That's our basic requirements for them. They have to make sure that their service is received throughout Hong Kong. Under SIPA, some licensees have their service received in the Greater Bay Area as well. We do offer facilitation service under SIPA. Say, for example, when the Hong Kong producers co-produce with mainland directors, we don't restrict on the number of Hong Kong actors used. And on the synopsis, we don't have really strict requirements on it. And for programs purchased from the mainland, it can be broadcast in prime time now. But that has nothing to do with a consideration of their renewal applications. We have many short clips on the internet. Many people watch it. However, some advertisements, say for example on cigarettes, fortune-telling, nightclubs, cannot be broadcast on TV. But is there any restrictions on this area for programs broadcast on the internet? It's true that some types of advertisements is banned on TVs, say for example advertisements on cigarettes or political advertisements. That's because we don't encourage people to smoke. Internet productions, however, are not regulated by the Broadcasting Ordinance. They have to abide by, say, for example, the national security law and other legislations on indecent and obscene articles. Will you regulate internet broadcasters on advertisements on tobacco, nightclubs, and fortune-telling? Well, because internet producers are not licensees, and they are not subject to the regulations of the Broadcasting Ordinance. Well, has the licensees told you about the difficulties that they're facing? Has they proposed any suggestions to you so that you can relax the restrictions for them? The 3 licensees have submitted their proposals, but as they submitted them in confidentially to us, so we are not going to disclose the content of the proposals. As mentioned, we are going to consider relaxing some of the restrictions, and we're going to make recommendations to the CNC very soon. There are 3 licensees offer free service to the people, and they also assist the government in broadcasting announcement in the public interest. I hope that the administration will try to help them out as far as possible, because audience now have many options to receive information and enjoy entertainment.
Madam Chair, I note members' comments. Ms. Eunice Yong. Picking up on what Mr. Chen Xiu-hong said about English channels. We want to promote tourism in Hong Kong. We call ourselves an international city, but we do not have a lot of local programs produced on English channels. We usually just procure programs relating to tourism, culture, public information, and most of them are reruns. So for tourists coming to Hong Kong, they usually switch on the TV the first thing they get into a hotel room. So I think in order to have good publicity in Hong Kong, we need to provide more local information to tourists. The other question is about ethnic minority groups. Will you put in place licensing requirements in processing renewal applications about more English programs and the promotion of tourism? The second question relates to children's program. We want more positive information to be given to children through these programs. The children's hours are now from 4 to 8:30, and that they should suit the relevant categories such as parental guidance or mature audience. Whereas for programs on the internet, they come in various forms. There are various qualities, and most of these clips are not suitable for children. So it's for TV stations to carry this buck and provide a dedicated channel with programs for children. The third point is about 4K broadcasting. I understand that the most up-to-date technology should be applied with the best quality possible. But nowadays, in remote areas, including Lamma Island and Tap Moon, there are often complaints about the non-reception of high-quality digital TV signal. So I understand for other fee-charging TV stations, they have adopted 4K broadcasting. Will you impose the same requirement on the licensees so that gradually we can have 4K free-to-air broadcasting in Hong Kong? DG, thank you. The member just now asked about locally produced English programs and that we should ramp up our effort in order to promote tourism. We will consider incorporating these suggestions in the license renewal process. Now, about a dedicated channel for children, we have just these several stations in Hong Kong. They face resource constraints as well. So what we require them to do at this point is to dedicate certain periods of time for airing children's programs. In fact, we require a certain hours per week of children's program to be broadcast. We note members' comments, so we'll go back and give it a thought. About 4K broadcasting, the situation is more complex. For free-to-air terrestrial TV broadcasting, it used relatively more resources comparing to 1080i. So we need to consider, and we also need to switch to another system. So this will have a major impact on the general public. So The current approach adopted by the TV stations is that apart from the terrestrial TV service, they also come with their own TV top boxes that are connected to the internet that will allow them to deliver programs adopting a higher quality or higher resolution standard than the 1080i. This requires long-term planning and conversion of the digiboxes. So I don't think we can achieve that in a short period of time. Mr. Oden Chow. Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to ask about the importance we attach to English channels of the local TV stations. According to paragraph 6 of the paper, for non-English program broadcasting hours, it has gone, in percentage terms, it has gone up from 20% to 45%. In fact, we've heard from the foreign chambers of commerce that in recent years, fewer English programs were broadcast on our English channel. Now, Hong Kong's position is that we're connected to the world whilst having the support of our motherland. So we should attach greater importance to the English channel. Can we raise the proportion of English programs on English channels? Now, for English programs nowadays, well, it comes with Chinese subtitle. It also showcases things happening around the world. So I think it's something you should consider. Another point is this: when issuing or renewing licenses, you need to inquire with the licensees about the resources in terms of money or manpower put in the English channel vis-a-vis the operation of other channels, whether they are able to give an undertaking to put in more resources, because we have this impression that fewer resources have been put in the English channels. We need to stay connected to the world. That's our merit as one of the Greater Bay Area cities. I think we should focus on English channel. Right, Mr. Chow's point is noted. Hong Kong is an international city. Free TV licensees should provide programs that can be enjoyed by both Chinese and English-speaking audience. So, like I said, I will relay members' views to the Communications Authority. Anything to add? Next is my turn. Well, I think it's common knowledge that with more free TV channels, advertising income has dropped, and this deals a major blow to the TV industry. Advertisements placed with new media have far exceeded that on traditional TV stations. Not many people are interested in joining the TV industry, in other words. There are also advertising restrictions that are out of date. It eats into the competitiveness of the licensees. It's really perplexing why there are so many restrictions. For example, advertisements relating to religion, advertisements relating to hair loss or medication, or new modes of advertisements such as pop-up advertisements. For example, if you watch mainland drama, during the episodes, you may see advertisements rolled out in a reel as subtitles, or some mini advertisements popping up There are also placement, advertising, etc. Now, can we lift the restrictions and allow new forms of advertisements to be shown so as to enhance the competitiveness and to keep up with the market demand? The second point is this. I fully agree with other members that we have not made full use of our English channels. In other cities, they rely quite heavily on foreign language TV channels to promote their own cities or to explain the policy so as to attract investments as well as tourists. Now, the English channels in Hong Kong do not broadcast local productions. They are not positioned to sell Hong Kong to people in other places or to enhance the knowledge in Hong Kong. Well, maybe not just Hong Kong, but also the development of the Greater Bay Area. Foreign media very often would practice mudslinging on Hong Kong. They may try to mislead citizens in other cities about Hong Kong. And it seems that our TV stations are not tasked to clarify rumors or to showcase the beauty of Hong Kong. Will you include this as one of the licensing conditions in the renewal exercise? Thank you, Chair. Let me briefly respond to her points, and then I'll see if Director General would like to supplement as well. In terms of advertisements, it forms a major revenue for the industry, so we adopt an open mind in the current consultation exercise. And like Madam Chair said, in terms of lifting restrictions on advertising, we keep all options open. We look forward to your views and suggestions. The second point is about free TV. As the DG mentioned, services are delivered through the free terrestrial network targeting local audience. As for other clients, as Madam Chair said, on promoting our economic development or tell good stories of Hong Kong, definitely we'll leverage on different channels. Like the DG just now explained, we need to ensure the quality of programs delivered to local audience. Director General. You mentioned different types of advertisements, such as those relating to religion, preventing hair loss, medical examination, etc. I think we need the relevant consent of the policy bureaus, and if we receive these suggestions in the future, we will follow up on them. And on the other hand, we have different modes of advertisements, such as the window pop-up type advertisements, the special mini advertisements, or the advertisements that come in the form of frame on the four corners. Basically, we will listen to the views of the licensees and see whether it's possible to accommodate these forms of advertisements as well. Right, Undersecretary DG, I just referred to the new types of advertisements and new modes of advertisements. If you say you keep an open mind, you don't have to wait until 2027. There is a lot you can do now, and you can do it as quickly as possible, because TV stations are struggling to keep afloat. They're competing in a neck-to-neck race with the internet operators. So, as I understand, in a previous inquiry, the Communications Authority will have to discuss with the relevant policy bureaus what's the outcome of the discussion, and can you tell us about progress? For example, about advertisements not involving medical treatment or getting rid of alcohol addiction, etc. Why isn't it allowed. What about dentists? Dental services? Not allowed, right? Nothing about healthcare. But the same advertisement can be found on the internet. Don't you think it's out of date? I think you should go back and look into the matter and see what the problem is and try to lift the restrictions as quickly as possible. We need to extend the meeting by 15 minutes. Another question is this about targeting local audience. Many programs are not just shown on free TV stations by the licensees. They are also shown on the online platform so as to generate more income and capture a wider audience. So likewise, if they're able to produce quality programs, even in English, they can just make it available on the internet platform, and you can capture the worldwide audience. So if it forms part of the licensing requirements, they can help promote Hong Kong.
Mr. Chan Shu-hong for the second round. Thank you. 2 years ago, in the same panel, we talked about the outcome of the midterm review of the domestic free television program service licenses. At that meeting, I supported the establishment putting in place the national security related requirements. I think that the relevant programs are produced by the RTHK and the government, but I think that they are rather hard-selling and boring. I don't think that young people and children will be interested in watching those national security related programs. I think that we should encourage licensees to produce national security related programs in a more creative ways to attract more audience to watch them. Can RTHK play such a role? A certain licensee produced dramas related to pilots. The competition commission and certain licensees produce a program on the relevant legislations. They create stories to tell people about the relevant ordinances on, say, for example, competition commission drama. Should the administration encourage the licensees to film relevant programs? Perhaps the government can subsidize them. Undersecretary, I will give a very brief reply. I agree that we should adopt a softer approach to connect the people with the government. We see many locally produced programs being very popular among local and mainland audience. Say, for example, at TVB, we have programs related to tourism that are very popular among mainland tourists. There is a program called No Poverty Land. We ask the licensees to play programs no less than 30 minutes or on national security related requirements. The programs adopt a rather soft approach to enhance the people's understanding of our country and the relevant legislations. We ask the licensees to broadcast no less than 30 minutes of such programs per week. We notice that the licensees also offer programs of different content, say, for example, to enhance people's national identity and their awareness of the relevant legislations. Some licensees also broadcast programs produced by national TVs. At RTHK channel 3435, they broadcast programs produced by CGTN. We have some 80 channels broadcast on this satellite, playing programs produced by the mainland. Madam Chair, the administration did not answer if they will encourage the licensees to produce independent programs on national security, because they are more aware of the taste of the audience. Undersecretary, thank you. We will keep in close liaison with the licensees as to how they can enhance their viewership. We believe that the licensees are the experts in this area. We will talk to them and hopefully to improve their efforts in the area mentioned. This year marks the 80th anniversary of the victory of the War of Aggression, and we have national games coming up. How will the administration encourage local licensees to promote high-quality programs in relation to these areas, or even dramas, to promote sports events? Undersecretary, as mentioned, we will keep in close communication with the free TV program licensees. As mentioned by the Madam Chair, we're having 2 major events coming up. We may encourage the licensees to produce programs in relation to them. Many members are concerned about relaxing the requirements on product placements. I know that you have updated your code of practice, but I wonder if you can further relax your requirements on, say, the size of the products on screen, or the length of the time when the products can appear on the screen. We will look into various factors. We have to take care of the sentiment of the audience, and we will have to see if there is any malpractice. We want to look at the views that we collect during the public consultation from the stakeholders, the public, and the industry before we make recommendations to the CENC. How long will the public consultation last? 2 months, and it will start in Q3 this year. So it's about to commence. We will invite the members of this panel to submit your views as well. Thank you. If there is no further question, let's move on to item 4 on the agenda. Any other business? There being no AOB, meeting adjourned. Thank you.